Good afternoon, class. For this discussion board, I chose the 40th chapter of Isaiah, verse 25 through 31. Um, the, Beginning with chapter 40, it could be considered the book of consolation. The first half of the book, chapters 1 through 39, the message there is a message of judgment. But beginning with chapter 40 through 66, you get a message of salvation and hope. Just to give you a little background, I won't go in much background because it's so short a time. But many scholars wrestle with the authorship of the book of Isaiah. Some say there's a single author, and others say that there were multiple authors. So some kind of don't give credit to the second half of the book, beginning with chapter 40. But in the New Testament, Jesus quotes from the second half of the book. In John, the 12th chapter, verses 38 through 40, he quotes from Isaiah 53 and 1. In Luke, the 4th chapter, verse 17 through 21, he quotes from Isaiah 61 and 1. So if it's good enough for Jesus, and Jesus found credibility in it, it's got to be good enough for me and you. So let's go into the word a little bit. It says, "Whom then will you liken me? Or shall I be equal, saith the Holy One? Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things that bringeth out their host by number? He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. Why sayest thou, O Jacob, and speaketh, O Israel, my way is hid from the Lord, and my judgment is passed over from my God? Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard? That the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to those that faint, and to them that have no might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young man shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They that mount up with wings of an eagle, they shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." I think we should be encouraged by these words. You know, we all going through something. We all have our struggles. We all have our periods that we feel like we in exile. We all go through periods of time where we feel like we experiencing some wilderness experience. But it's comforting to know that God has a purpose and a plan for each one of us. The scriptures say he calls us by name. He knows us intimately. We have an intimate relationship with Christ. The scripture says that he doesn't call us no longer servants, but he calls me his friend. And then he says, "Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, he fainteth not." God don't get weary. God don't do like some of your friends and walk away from you. You know, God shows up, and he shows up right on time. He says he giveth power to them that fainteth. He says to them that have no might, he increases strength. God, he's a provider. God helps us. He strengthens us. But it's encouraging to know that no matter what we're going through, no matter what bottoms we discover, the scripture says that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of an eagle. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. May God have a blessing in the hearing of his word. Good night, class.